All right, if you're a startup leader, you know this feeling. It's late, a huge deal is hanging in the balance, and you're just staring at a security questionnaire. All of a sudden, SOC 2 isn't just some acronym, it's this massive wall you have to climb. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through that chaos. We're going to map out a clear, actionable budget that turns that late-night panic into actual confidence.
Yep, that's the moment it gets real. That late-night scramble, trying to pull together evidence to prove you're secure, it's practically a rite of passage for founders, right? It feels just completely overwhelming. But you know what? It doesn't have to be. We're going to replace that panic with a solid plan.
Okay, so the very first thing we have to do, and this is the most important step, is to figure out where you actually fit. And spoiler alert, your SSE2 budget has almost nothing to do with the price tag of some compliance tool. It's all about the reality of how your business actually runs day in and day out. And this slide, this is key. It represents a total mind shift. See, most people start over there on the left, just asking, how much does the software cost? That's not a plan, that's just a guess. The method is to look at your actual risk, your team's everyday rhythm, and just how badly you need this to close deals. That combo is what really decides your budget. So let's do this. Let's figure out your lane right now. Just look at this table. For each question, give your company a score from 0 to 2. Go on, add up your total. This isn't a test. It's just about getting an honest, real baseline of where you're at today. And here we go. Based on that score you just calculated, this chart shows you exactly which budget lane you're probably in. Scored low, 0 to 3, you're in the $500 a month lane, focused on the fundamentals. Middle of the road, that's the $1,000 lane, where you're paying for speed. And high score, you're in the $2,000 lane, funding true repeatability. Boom. You've got a realistic starting point. But hold on. Before we break down those lanes, we have to talk about the biggest hidden cost of all, your team's time. I like to call this evidence debt. If your people are spending more than 20 hours every single month just manually chasing screenshots and logs, that's a giant flashing red light. It means your next dollar needs to go toward fixing that process, not buying more tools. All right, so you've found your lane. Now let's dive in and see what these budget plans actually look like. We're going to talk about what your money actually buys, what your priorities should be, and the trade-offs you're going to have to make at every level. So first up, the $500 a month plan. Let's be clear, this isn't about flashy dashboards or fancy automation. This is for the early, super disciplined teams that just need to get the basics right. It's all about doing the essential things and doing them over and over again, consistently. So the key word for this plan is focus. You got to have a central identity provider with mandatory multi-factor authentication. You got to run your access reviews on a set schedule, and you need one simple place for all your policies. But here's the catch. This whole lean lane thing, it only works if compliance is a weekly habit, not some annual fire drill. Okay, so this is a big decision point. When do you level up? Well, you stick with the $500 plan as long as the sales pressure is low and one person can reasonably handle the workload. But the moment security questionnaires are bogging down your sales team and you've blown past that 20-hour manual work limit, it's time to invest. You jump to the $1,000 lane to buy back your team's focus and get deals moving again. And that brings us right here, the $1,000 a month plan. For most B2B SaaS teams, this is kind of the sweet spot. The goal here isn't just about being compliant. It's about making your sales process smooth and getting security out of the way as a blocker, all without setting your own house on fire with operational chaos. So what are you adding for that extra cash? You're basically buying operational maturity. You're putting in device controls like encryption. You're setting up basic logging. And this is huge. You're creating a rock-solid workflow for when people join, move, or leave the company. It's what I love to call operational adulthood. It just tells buyers you've got your act together. And finally, we've got the $2,000 a month lane. This is for teams where that compliance friction is a direct hit to revenue. At this point, you stop chasing a badge and start building a real, honest-to-goodness, resilient, and audit-ready security program. So what does that extra investment get you? Well, it's buying you grown-up processes, much better monitoring, a formal system for checking your vendor's security, and actual structured drills for incident response. The goal here is real reliability. You're not just collecting software logos to impress people. Okay, let's put it all together on one screen. You can really see the evolution, right? You start by building credibility, Then you focus on sales-ready operations, and finally, you aim for true repeatability. And notice how the main risk changes at each level, too. From just the exhaustion of manual work to getting bogged down with too many complex tools. All right, we know the plans. Now let's talk about how to protect that budget. Because let me tell you, rework is the enemy. It will kill your budget and your timeline faster than anything else. So let's look at the most common traps and how to just sidestep them completely. And here it is, the biggest, most expensive trap I see companies fall into time and time again. A team buys some powerful, expensive tool, but nobody is actually assigned to run the process. You have to remember this. A tool without an owner is just expensive wallpaper. It looks pretty, but it's totally useless. So to make sure you don't fall into these traps, you have to know what you're really spending. Use this super simple formula. Take your monthly tool cost, add the number of hours your team spends on SOC2 stuff, and then multiply those hours by a rough hourly rate for your team. That number, that's your real spend, not just what it says on the software bill. And here's a quick hit list, 7 ways I see budgets get absolutely destroyed by rework. Some are obvious, like not having clear owners. But really look at that last one, scheduling the audit before your process is stable. That is a classic mistake. It's almost always a recipe for expensive, painful delays. Go on, be honest. Which one of these is making you cringe a little right now? All right, we know the plans, we know the pitfalls. Let's finish this off with something you can actually do. A concrete 90-day action plan to get you from a dead stop to a smooth, sustainable operating rhythm. Here's your 90-day sprint. We're breaking it down so it's not so overwhelming. You start by just assigning owners. Then you make tool decisions to fix real problems. But look at weeks 5 through 8. That is everything. That's where you build the habit, that weekly cadence. And only then at the end do you do an honest check before you even think about calling an auditor. And hey, when you're finally ready to talk to auditors or advisors, please don't show up empty-handed. Use this checklist. Walking in with your tool list, your control owners, and some recent evidence samples, that's how you get a fair quote and not get taken for a ride. You've heard me say this phrase a few times, operating rhythm. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this concept. It is the simple, powerful practice of treating compliance just like any other weekly operational task. It's not a project, it's a rhythm. This is what prevents that evidence debt and completely kills that last-minute panic we started with. So I'm going to leave you with this one last question. After all this, think about your own company. Is your approach to SOC 2 a source of that late-night panic, or is it becoming a source of real operational confidence that actually helps you close more deals? The plan is right here. The choice is yours.